This podcast is part of the Blueberry Network, where listeners and podcasters come together. Find out more at blueberrywithnoease.com.
The Eat Sleep Right podcast is brought to you by generous grant from the Built on Dreams Media Network, with additional funding by the Sims Media Foundation, and from the generosity of listeners like you.
Stand by, please. Rolling on 6. On set.
Welcome to another edition of Voices of the Writers, a reading of poetry, stories, and vignettes on Eat Sleep Right. Put on your headphones and escape the world for a moment or two. Get closer to the poetry and stories. Listen to Voices of the Writers. The Eat Sleep Right podcast is also brought to you by the generous cooperation of the Writers World Facebook group. Join Writers World on Facebook, a solicitation-free group for writers of fiction, nonfiction, and poetry, a writing group that concentrates on critiques of posted material. Topaz by Susan Joyner Stumpf, read by Adam Scull. My topaz to you, my zodiac golden, essence which follows, all scent that has dropped. Out of this world, lay down the still bones, for love is a wager we sometimes lose. A heart fall into the abyss, dwindling down into the fragrant mist. All tumbled sea iridescence, epitome of chocolate sadness. All over again, we are each other's unbirthed colors, until the canvas snowy etch is put to interval light. Spectrums though we are, reflecting twisting muscle, in chalky brokenness, until we come along and seal the emptiness between locked spaces. Quasi-folds of dream resilience, embrace so stung, it scabs the senses. New awareness toward a ray of embryonic affection. Genesis, omnipotent safari of open heart possibilities. Once we succumb to love's tidal powers, it's enough to know each life-altering movement has its own afterlife. If you're looking for a community that offers tools, support, and advice to start your own adventures in writing, then prepare to have the cauldron of your imagination stirred. I started the Eat Sleep Right podcast so more people could understand what it's like to be a writer, and to get more eyes on your books. My goal is to help writers and authors achieve the success they so richly deserve. I salute their success in writing.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Eat Sleep Right podcast, located at eatsleepright.net. Please send any questions, comments or suggestions to comments@eatsleepright.net. Please consider a donation to support the Eat Sleep Right podcast. Donations can be sent to our PayPal address at donations@eatsleepright.net. Once in a lifetime, the theme music for the Eat Sleep Right podcast, courtesy of Stephen Paul, all rights reserved, used by permission. Please join us again for the next edition of the Eat Sleep Right podcast.